LAVC speech team that has won many awards and is famous, as I'm sure you've heard about them on campus. So please be sure to give her a warm welcome and to make sure that you give her your due respect and everything. And did I mention the sign-in sheet? Okay.
Sleep was something Army Specialist Jennifer trained her not to do after returning from 8 months of military service in Afghanistan in 2003. Sleep meant dreams of the Taliban throwing mortars at her tent and Bagram airfields, and the 20-year-old would wake up sweating and terrified. To avoid sleeping, Crane turned to cocaine, and after several months of use, she reached a low one night in November 2005. No matter how much she snorted, it just wasn't enough. So Crane decided to grab a knife and end her life, reported the Huffington Post on July 16, 2010. These psychological wounds have come not only as a result of combat trauma, but also from sexual harassment and assaults during her time in uniform, explained the Salt Lake City Tribune on September 27, 2010. Crane is part of more than 1.8 million women who have served in Iraq and Afghanistan. But many more women report that when they return home from war, they face another battle at home. It's getting the care and respect they need at the Veterans Affairs Hospital, declared the NPR on February 22, 2010. Female veterans are compromised by a military healthcare system set up for men. First, we will examine the challenges that veteran women face while in the military and upon returning from the war zones. Then, we will analyze how the military healthcare system is failing our female veterans, before finally providing more privacy, better care, and security for female veterans. Stated by the Regulatory Intelligence Data on July 29, 2010, the traditional male-dominated environment often doesn't recognize that women experience the same physical, psychological, and emotional trauma as male veterans. Yet despite their efforts to keep our country safe, the VA is failing to comply with regulations governing women's privacy. The Washington Post on July 29, 2010 says that most health clinics for veterans do not have separate bathrooms for women. Some doctors who treat practicing members haven't kept up with medical issues on sexual issues from sexual trauma to prosthetics or menopause. Other facilities have no locks on bathroom doors and place gynecologic exam tables facing doors. In one room, the stirrups were in the line of sight of the mixed-gender waiting room. Chris, who has now finished serving her time for the Navy, says, "I was raped in the barracks. My rapist raped several other women. That's why I came forward. During the process of the investigation and afterwards, I had to live and work with him. And they kept me in the same barracks where the rape happened." The previously mentioned Salt Lake City Tribune explains that military women who are sexually assaulted during deployment are significantly more likely to suffer from PTSD than those who are exposed to combat trauma alone. In fact, Live Science on September 28, 2010 says that along with PTSD, female veterans are up to 38% more likely to suffer from headaches, low back disorders, urinary tract infections, and other reproductive system problems, compared with just 8% of men. Due to their experiences in the military, of being raped, unappreciated, and developing such disorders as PTSD, female veterans are more likely to end up homeless. Moreover, the Los Angeles Times on November 7, 2010 says that female veterans make up about 5% of the homeless veteran population and are up to 4 times more likely to lose their homes than their civilian counterparts. Teresa Payne, a 50-year-old Air Force chaplain's assistant, spent months living in her van after fleeing an abusive marriage last year, and more have the additional burden of being single moms or recovering from sexual assault. And in order to regain the custody of their children, they need a permanent address. Now that we've taken a look at the challenges that veteran women face while in the military and upon returning from the war zones, let's take a look at how the military healthcare system is failing our female veterans. Stated by the Regulatory Intelligence Data on July 29, 2010, the traditional male-dominated environment often doesn't recognize that women experience the same military issues in the military due to the experiences in the military. The U.S. Fed News on July 29, 2010 says, the U.S. Fed News on July 14, 2010 says, as we know, female veterans are one of the fastest growing segments of the veteran population. We must embrace ways to take action in the right direction. First, the military can start by acknowledging that this is an issue they need to resolve. They need to create more infrastructure for the healthcare and well-being of women. Secondly, whether women are in or out of the military, they can empower themselves by getting help and visiting www.stp-sf.org. Here they can inquire about housing, employment, physical, and mental health. On a personal level, we can help by spreading the word out. Many of these women do not know that this help is being offered to them, such as the first and ever Center of Excellence for Women's Health in Palo Alto, California. This is a safe place staffed almost entirely by women, and its doors are locked to keep out unintended visitors. Veterans can contact the center by logging onto their website at www.pamf.org or simply by calling the center's direct line to schedule an appointment at area code 831-423-4111. While this is a step in the right direction, there's still hundreds of thousands of veteran women who are in need of a place just like this. We're providing recovery programs, therapy groups, a private clinic, a 24-hour call center, and a social networking site for female combat veterans. We can also express our support with nonprofit organizations, such as the Women's Veteran Service and health services such as the Omnibus and the Pilot Program. We really need to put an end to the one-sided healthcare system that the military has created. First, we started by acknowledging the problems that veteran women face while in the military and upon returning from the war zones. Then, we analyzed how the military healthcare system is failing our female veterans. Before finally providing more privacy, better care, and security for female veterans. Female veterans fight and fall wounded overseas and come home with scars that aren't always healed by a healthcare system. The U.S. Fed News on November 7, 2010 says, Crane's downward spiral accelerated. She became addicted to prescription drugs. Her husband left her, making her homeless. She found it hard to readjust back to life. The U.S. Fed News on May 7, 2010 says, it is time to give them the help and respect they deserve by taking action to identify and remedy the healthcare gaps that undermine the health and well-being of women in the armed forces.